Come on. You know how it goes. You ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Chomp, 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 chomp. Chomp in the evening, chomp in the day, chomp in the morning, the afternoon. Chomp until your friends aren't gay. Chomp, 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 chomp. Eat it like you've never eaten before. Eat it when you want it. Eat it when you're sharing a bed with a whore. Chomp, 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 chomp. It's something good. It's something nice. Chomp all day. Chomp forever. Just make sure you don't smoke ice. Chorus. Chomp, 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 chomp. Go on. Chomp. Let's take it down. Chomp, chomp, chomp. Chomp, chomp it like you've never chomped. Chomp it like you never known. Chomp it like you used to chomp snow. Chomp, chomp, chomp. And that is why you get in early. If you don't get in early, I mean, genius. It's not something you should say about yourself, but it's genius. You know. Yes, you're right, everyone. I have been to the hairdressers. Oh, yeah. I got 4 hairs on my head and it took him an hour. That's 25 minutes of hair. Lovely, though. Absolutely. Oh, why have I just got a bing? I just got a bing in my ears. Chomp, 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 chomp. Chomp in the evening, chomp. I'm only doing that so that you're singing it all day. Right. Ian Ma is asking me a question, which I will answer once I've connected me AirPods. Hello, neighbor. All right, what's he got? Early start. I'll ask you again. Do you ever do anything that doesn't involve a computer screen other than yoga? Well, I've been out all morning. Oh, actually, are you going to see my big old man's pants? Chomp, 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 chomp in the evening, chomp in the day. Chomp in the week. I got this today. I go riding on my push bike. I go riding on my motorbike. I have meals out. But the problem is, when the girlfriend's here, I don't do much of my business. I don't do much writing. I don't do much YouTube. And when she's here, we go out. We spend our time. We go on walks. We visit places. We go and have massages. We go to markets. We're going on holiday. This time. We're going to go to a hotel, and I will not be looking at a computer at all. But when you're a writer, when you run an online business, and when you're a YouTuber, you do spend a fair amount of time on the computer. But today is a good example. It's 5 o'clock, nearly 5 o'clock here. And this is really the first time I've been at the computer all day. I had a lovely day. I was so grateful today. I expressed some gratitude. Gratitude is a lifesaver. I just thought how lucky I am. And I give myself a bit of praise because I love living out here. I know I'm not meant to say that because there's lots of lunatics on the right. But I love living out here. And as I was in the back of the tuk-tuk going to see a friend, I went to see a friend, just for a cup of tea. A Cambodian bloke, he can't speak English. I can't speak Cambodian, but we meet up for tea occasionally. And he makes me a nice traditional Cambodian tea. And we just sit there. And that's a rather nice thing I do occasionally. It's a really nice little friendship, actually. He's always happy to see me. And but I got this apple, carrot, orange, and ginger, freshly squeezed. They do it in front of you. So yeah. Ian, you asked another question actually on yesterday's community tab about that picture. That isn't the cover for the novel. That was just me fucking about. But when I get this far to, it's so close now, I just indulge myself a little bit occasionally and knock up covers because I start getting excited. And that's it. Massive thank you to everyone who gets involved in the community tab and the shorts. I know it's dull as fuck every morning. Oh, live streaming in 20 minutes. Could you put some comments and likes here? And I know that's boring, but it does work. And getting more people here is lovely. And I've checked the analytics, and when I don't do the community tab, when I don't do the shorts, less views, less people. I also want to say before more people get it, because you lot are like the hardcore are in early. And I know that, and it's lovely to see. And I really respect it, because if there's people here early, if a newcomer comes along, sees the short or sees the community tab and think, oh, someone's streaming, I'll have a look. When there's people waiting, they'll tend to stay, because they obviously, that's, social proof, I think they call it in the business. But I was thinking yesterday, because we've had a couple of newcomers recently who've hung around. And it's funny, because think about it. If you go and watch another stream on YouTube and you see all the names going up, you assume that everyone's randos. These are just people who've, they don't talk to each other. They don't know each other. Maybe a couple of them do. But you'll get someone here new and they don't realize that 95, 97, 8, 9% of the people in the chat know each other online, obviously. But we've been at this for years, and it's funny because they suddenly, I think you see them suddenly realize, and then of course the table on the ceiling, you sound like Russell Brand, and all those funny little giveaways. It made me laugh. Tech Roach, are you here? I feel obliged to tell you what happened with Tech Roach. So I'll be honest and quite brutal, actually. I don't like talking to people who are out their heads when they're threatening suicide. I'll talk to someone threatening suicide, but when they're out their heads, it's usually pointless. They're out their heads. I was talking to someone yesterday, and he was saying about when it was foot golf, when he was in a rehab center. There was this girl, and every day she'd come down into the front room and go, right, fuck it, that's it. I'm done. I'm going to top myself. I'm done. You probably won't see me tonight. And it was happening every night. And in the end, foot golf said to her, he said, well, look, I'll tell you what, fuck off upstairs. And if you're not down in by 7:30, we'll call the police or an ambulance. 7:30. She wasn't down. So he's gone up there, opened the door, and she was just sitting on a bed going, yeah. So that doesn't mean people don't need help. And so I said to Tech Roach yesterday, I said, listen, if you want to Skype me after this chat, I'm available for that. And I would have spoken to him while he was out of his head. But he sent me a couple of emails. It was riddled with typos, and he's in a real bad way. I know that he's going through a load of shit. And then he sent me another email apologizing for saying that what he said in the stream. But he clearly wasn't up for talking. And I wrote to him and sort of said, look, if you want to kill yourself, that's your choice. And I believe that, right? I don't agree with it. But I said, don't make decisions like that when you're out your head. Don't make a decision like that when you're out your head, because it's a fucking probably the most significant decision you can make. And I also said, you've got responsibilities. I don't want to go into his details too much, but I wrote him an email this morning, see how he is. I haven't heard from him. Let's hope he's okay. It's his information. I'm not going to go into it, but he's really being put through it at the moment. But nothing back from him yet. Okay, I'll keep you posted. He might turn up here. Let's hope so. Also, in the last week, I've put six scrubs together. Right? People who've asked for other scrubs emails. People who've got specialist knowledge or experience around things that someone else is going through. Someone else told me he's available for anyone going through family courts issues, people who are getting threatened with losing their job because of a dance down Jibber Jabber Street. And if anyone is involved in family courts or dealing with work, possibly firing them, ping me your email. I'll put you on to him. Yes, Otto, I think so. that person said no one needs to go through that stuff alone, and he's well clued up on it. And he wrote to me, he wrote to me and said that, and said, so if anyone wants advice, no one should go through that alone. And we do that here. Yep, you were one of them, Mr. Sump. You were one of the people. We hooked up with someone. And so, yeah, you know, if you are, whatever your problem is, if you've got issues and you feel alone, and don't feel alone and think this is how life is, just because they've done that to people of European descent. You don't have to go through it alone, whatever it is. You know, I think we've kind of had that, you know, it's not stoic to do it alone. You know, asking for help is a real issue for our people, and because they've removed the sense of community from us. But you don't have to go things alone, and it's not weak. It's not weak to say, you know what, can you help us out? Have you got information? You know, is there anything? Have you got experience in this matter? That's strength. That's strength to say, okay, here I am in life. This is the problem I've got. What resources can I find that can help me deal with this in a more productive way? That's not weak. That's strong as fuck. That's getting your troops on board. You don't go to war on your own, do you? Now, if anyone's asking why I'm being well homosexual and drinking this for a straw, it's because I don't want orange lips. It's not my colour. Wow. Oh, and now I've lost a straw. Come on, make the straw the size of the bottle at least. So I got my film review done. John, you said you were watching it. John says, I wish I had this community 30 years ago. Shit, it would have prevented or just helped over 20 years of damage. Fuck, man. Wow. Yes, Otto, it does as well. It does. It understood. Orange lips bad. Okay, there's that as well. Fruit acid is bad for teeth, so the straw bypasses teeth. Yeah, I don't want orange teeth. Orange teeth bad. I haven't got a lot of clips for you because, like I said, I've been busy all morning, but I've got a few things. And, you know, old say and search seems to be working all right. Now, if you haven't seen my video, it's obviously on my channel. It's a review of a film called The Hunt with Mads Mikkelsen. The whole world fancies Mads Mikkelsen. He's such a good actor. He was amazing in Riders of Justice. And he was so amazing in Riders of Justice that, is it actually him? Let me see. I'm just working out whether it is actually him. I'm sure it is. Yeah, it is him. But that's the quality of his acting. I watched the whole movie and I was like, is that Mads Mikkelsen? And if you can change your character that much, well, you can't. I wasn't sure it was him just then. But it's a Mads Mikkelsen movie about a man who's accused of paedophilia. And this isn't a spoiler. There's not really many spoilers in the review either, because the story's simple and it doesn't change your viewing pleasure. He's wrongly accused of paedophilia. They let you know that in the beginning. Yes, Hans, he does play a Bond villain. But he's wrongly accused of paedophilia. They let you know that. It's not like, oh, did he do it? Didn't he? Because that's dull as fuck, and we've been there 1,000 times. That's it, Baz. There you go. I think I pronounced it right in my review. Jagten. Is it Jagten? And thank you, John. Well, this is what I want to say while the OG Scrubs are here. You know, that this is my not Gonzo film reviews. I don't want to do film reviews and books or whatever the same way that everyone else is doing it, because there's a lot of that out there. Hello, Simon Hodge from Norway. Lovely to see you, mate. So I thought there was a typo, because in the movie obviously it's subbed. But was my pronunciation any good, Baz? Yugton. You know, there's people, Critical Drinker, Mauler, all that crowd. They do it better than me. They've got the time to put massive videos of very good editing together. But that is my Gonzo approach to film reviews. I will watch the movie and stop the movie and talk to the camera. And then at the end, I'll put all those clips together with little bits of footage in between. I think it adds something. It's a new angle. We'll see what the reviews and the likes are like. And it needs a little bit of refining here and there. I need to buy a light. Good Lord. The reason I haven't got a light is because, well, I've got a light, but the batteries are like 30 quid a pop. But I will get a light because when I watched that video back, and I don't usually watch my videos back, but it's an experimental thing. I just thought, you can't really see me. And I've got no other way of lighting it. I had the spots on, so you can sort of see a little bit of the side of me. So I will buy some lights, a light, I only need one. And there'll be more of them. Nice one, Garlic Gorilla. That's amazing. It means a lot to me, man. It needs refining, the angle. But did you get what I was talking about, like that Gonzo thing where I started talking about when I cut my hands up? And when I started talking about things in my own life, so there's identification rather than just talking about the movie. Because what really can you say about the movie apart from what you think about it? And rather than hide that, you know, a lot of film reviews hide the fact that I'm just telling you my view of a film. That's all you can do. So rather than hide that, I've put that front and center. This bit made me think about this. This bit made me... You know, that's the thing. Oh, Lord. Zarbo's on the firm. He's on the firm. Zarbo's on the firm. He's on the firm. The original firm honor. Firmer. Good to see you, Zarbo. I can't believe you went with it. Grego says, you should critique all the famous drug movies as a former professional. Connoisseur, please. Does that mean I've got to sit through Train Spotting? But that's actually a good idea. However, here's the problem. I've seen them. So in that kind of Gonzo way, take Drugstore Cowboy, for instance. It's not going to have... In the review of that, The Hunt, I've never seen it. And the first review the first section, I say, I don't know if you'll ever see this, what I'm saying, because I might not watch this movie because it's fucking hard and it's going to affect me. Because films do. Good movies change the way you think and feel. So with Drugstore Cowboy, it'll be like, right, well, I know what happens. I've seen this. So that's not to say I won't do it, but there'll be a different angle there. But I'll have to be honest about that. I'll have to say, I'll have to talk. Like, you know, I've seen this film a few times. So yeah, okay, that might be a nice little playlist. What's it going to be? It's going to be Last Exit to Brooklyn. I mean, the novel's an American classic. The film's shit. It's all right. It's all right if you're a fan, I think. So Last Exit to Brooklyn, Requiem for a Dream, Train Spotting, Drugstore Cowboy. Any more in that genre, people? Matt says, movies with wine and sausages are hard on me. I don't understand that at all, but yeah, you like to it. Oh, of course. There's also, what's it? The two blokes, Adam and Joe, is it? The Irish movie, which is probably the best one. Fear and Loathing, good call. Right, let me get this grift out of the way. Talking about putting effort into making freaking videos. You're probably only going to get an hour out of me today. Well, an hour more. So where are we now? 20 minutes. Because I've got to get on with some work. If the work messages don't come through, though, but I know there's some things that need dealing with, maybe they can wait 20 minutes. It shouldn't cause too many problems. Right, hang on a minute. I had a weird message Leaving Las Vegas. Good call. And I haven't seen that for years because there I was. I always say alcohol's a drug, and I completely forgot about the boozing movies. He goes to Las Vegas to drink himself to death, doesn't he? That's the plan. Has anyone seen Adam and Joe, the Irish smackhead movie? Oh, they're all coming out now. Yeah, I think what I'd have to do, John, is they would have to be explicitly, rather than films with drugs in them. I mean, Hollywood dines out on drug use like nobody's business. What one's that? Adam and Joe, Arklow Rocks, or are you talking about something else? I don't know if I know Nice Dreams. Mandy has an LSD theme. I haven't seen Mandy. Okay, this is interesting. All right, so there's a few angles there. The Spice Girls, the movie, is the angle Spice. Oh, okay. Adam, I think it's Adam and Joe. I think I might be thinking of the comedians Adam and Joe. Let me say and search. We've watched a trailer here before. Irish film, heroine, Adam and Paul. It's a great movie. Adam and Paul. I spoke to the director. I got hold of him, and he's also one of the lead roles in the movie. He looks a bit like Liam Gallagher. And I got hold of him and spoke to him about that film, and he got back to me. It was quite nice. Nice thing to do. It's nice sometimes to be able to track these people down. I told you about my weird little email script that just pings off. If your name, say I wanted to get hold of John Coltrane, obviously I'd need a Ouija board, but as an example, you'll send out like 1,000 emails. John.Coltrane@Yahoo, Gmail, blah, 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 blah. Coltrane John Coltrane, 1971, 1972, 84, Mandy is very trippy. Cage chews up the scenery. All right, I might have a look at that. There's also a very interesting movie called H, which I watched again recently. It's about a couple of people who decide to get clean, and it's a boyfriend and girlfriend, and they live in this dirty little basement. And the man, has anyone here seen H? I will not, Chrissy. I will not be looking at Cheech and Chong movies. That's a step too far. They live in this basement, but the bloke decides to give up. So he has his last hit, and then when the girl wakes up, she's like, "Oh, put me one together," and he goes, "No, we're quitting." And she's like, "Oh, are we? And you've had your last one, right?" And he goes, "Yeah." It's so tight. I just think, you fucker. And it's about them getting clean. A very strange film, very low budget. It doesn't go. They don't leave the basement. The cameras don't leave the basement. The whole film is shot in the basement. Has anyone seen it? I saw it on telly years ago when I was about 13 or so, 13, 14, maybe a little bit older. And it really, really stuck with me. But listen to this. This is quite a weird thing. So one of my mates who I fell out with over politics, that'll happen when you're a Nazi. That'll happen when the Times tell everyone that you've been grooming teenage Nazis. But he's been one of my best mates since we were kids. Really, we've been through loads together, and it just fell apart because of all that. And we become friends again. And I got a message from him this morning. Oh, the red pills are falling. Kneel by Mouth. Yeah, Ludwig, it's a great movie, but I'd probably put that more into working class sort of. I think that's a different genre, although it is about drugs. Although there are drugs in it. But anyway, there's plenty to do. Thank you for the people who've watched that film review. That's my first not Gonzo review. And I will certainly try and do some more. Well, I definitely will. Good Lord, look at that. I didn't expect that. I thought that was going to last me the whole stream. So, yeah, this bloke one of my best mates, Guardian reader, lefty, yeah. And he said to me in a WhatsApp message this morning, he went, I don't consider myself left wing, to be honest with you. He was like, they're all mad. And I was like, you know, I'd be a leftist friend. I've got no problem with having friends who are leftists. What I want to be able to do is talk with them, and that's what these people won't do, because leftists can't, because they know it's not a nonsense. So yeah, very intelligent bloke as well, and drug user. It's very strange, very strange. Anyway, right, the grift. Right, hang on, I still haven't even set it up. How ironic that I've got chomp, chomp, chomp going around my head. I think so, yes. I think, you know, and I've noticed this before, and a lot of you might have seen this. He was, interestingly, he said, you know, I'm not right wing. And that's what people do. When they abandon the left, they sort of, I've had enough of all of it. It's all bullshit. And I always think, no, it's not. No, it's not. And you know that. Because if you abandon the left, where'd you go? What, you've got no thoughts on how things should be run. You've got no... Because if you can judge that the left are doing things wrong, you know, you can't have a measure without a scale. It doesn't work. So if you can suddenly say, I'm not left-wing anymore, that's because you know that things are being done in a negative way for certain groups. And if you can do that, you can conceive of a alternative. And so, you know, you can't be neutral. You can't. Yes, you could be third position, but third position is largely conservative. There you go. Yeah, it's a sellout, isn't it? You know, I think a lot of people you know, when they were 18, they were communists, and they just can't imagine actually saying the words, I'm right wing. It's just, you know, it's almost like a hangover. All right, give us a couple of seconds and I'll be with you. Bosh, bosh, chomp, chomp. Chomp in the evening, chomp in the day. I was watching Jimmy the other night. He was getting so angry. Someone buy me a fucking beer. And then he was just picking his teeth and eating. I was thinking, I think that's quite the grift, actually. That's going to be hard work, asking for donations when you've been picking your teeth for an hour. He's properly on the streaming bug, though. He does like 8 hours. He done an 8-hour stream the other night. Fucking hell, 8 hours. It's good fun though, streaming. I love it, but I couldn't be doing 8 hours. I done 13 over the weekend in different ones, and it made me sick, made me ill. Right, the grift. Hi, all right, hello. You can support this channel in various ways. You can become a member of the channel, link in the description. There's 3 stratas and they get private streams. I will be doing 2 hero streams this month. Apologies. You can also become a monthly donator on SUBSTACK, link in the description. Super chat is the $ at the bottom of the YouTube chat just there. Or entropy, link in the description, but I'll I'll pin the entropy link to the top of the chat. So in a matter of seconds, if I can stop this moving, in a matter of seconds, it should be up there. There. I don't expect to get rich from YouTubing, but I do stream twice a day, and I put a lot of effort, time, passion, and research into it. So a few donations here and there wouldn't go amiss. And in fairness, we do all right. You're a generous bunch, and I really appreciate it. Hello, Hair in the Gate. Nice to see you. John says, do you remember Pete 746? Haven't seen him for a while. No, I don't. I don't actually. That's a weird one. Matt D says, right wingers who think the world wants to be bombed. so they can watch The View and have elections for corrupt puppets and nuts too. I don't know any right wingers who think the world wants to be bombed so they can watch. That's not a right wing view, is it? I think, right wing is like tradition, family, community, nation, conservative values, conserve things that we've had that worked. Hello, John. Nice one, mate. Have you seen Bad Boy Bubby? Dark and takes a weird turn. I haven't. Let me pop it into me Google so I've got it. Bad Boy Bubby. Heard of it. Early 90s. Oh, looks very strange. An Australian black comedy drama written by Rolf de Heer, Nicholas Open, Carmel Johnson. All right, I'll put it on the list. Nice one, Manny Moo. Hope you're well, my friend. Hope you're well. Thank you very much for that donation, John. I don't think he was talking about The View as in that ridiculous Whoopi Goldberg and her other social justice NPCs. I think he meant watching the world bombed, I think. I'm not quite sure, but maybe he'll tell us a bit more about what he said. Morning, Dennis. How are you? Willow, I know. They're horrible. Just watching all that. No. I can't. I've strayed into that, and I just thought, gross. We had one on here. We watched one once where there was a bloke who just had loads of holes in his face, like centimetre diameter holes all down the side of his face, and they all had maggots in them. He was alive. I wouldn't be alive if I had maggots in my face. I'd have either done something about it or said, no, you've gone too far down a very, very bleak and unpleasant road. Chrissy says, scrub love. Nice one, Chrissy. Thank you, love. Zeitgeist is saying that Bad Boy Bubby is a little bit disturbing. I can do a little bit disturbing, but it's warning me. I will look into it. Now, here's something quite interesting. I have got a little clip here. So we looked the other day that the CCP, the ruling communist, imagine 2021, party of China, they were flying fighter jets and bombers one every hour around Taiwan. And they've outright said they want to, it's amazing actually, they want to reunify like they did with Hong Kong. Let's not forget they've already done it. Admittedly, it was, we were, the part of the deal was we had to give it back to them. But they want Taiwan. China considers Taiwan like the Isle of Wight is part of England. And Taiwan don't. And Taiwan, not only have they got a very strong economy, but they also have got the monopoly on superconductors, which is America would grind to a halt, almost certainly grind to a halt without the Taiwanese superconductors, plus many other, what would you call them? I don't know what you call those things. Tech. Nice one, Mike. It's not right or left, it's correct or incorrect. There you go, that makes sense. Nice one, Mike, much appreciated. Now, here's the interesting thing. Although, Mike, I would argue that the political right does tend to, for me anyway, have the right ideas, the correct ideas. So, but then I suppose it's just semantic after that. That's the word I was, thank you, Mike, for that donation. Much appreciated. Yeah, components was the word I was looking for. Thank you, R. Pizzle. So, Field Marshal Dawn Browning, She says, it's lovely seeing all the beaut names in chat. All hail to the lurkers too. It really is. It really is. I was just saying that when there was about 50 of us here, there was, I said, look at all the OG scrubs here. Amazing. Last night, Dawn, because the clocks have changed in the UK, we had 175 people watching. We're getting back up there. Nice one on the donation. Lovely to see you. I hope your gardening's going well. And I will keep watching your videos. Thank you, Dawn. Thank you for that donation. Machano Caprucci Tutti. Pass my regards to Master Ben, please, too. Yeah, do you remember that? In the 80s, everything you bought, Christmas time, everything had a little oval sticker on it, didn't it? Made in Taiwan. French is on the firm. He's on the firm. So, Andrew, there's 3 strata. If you join the top one, you get to go to all the private streams. There's only one a month, but they're a good laugh. We get everyone on the screen. If you go to the top one, you can go to all 3 of them. If you go to the middle one, you can see the bottom 2. And if you go to the first one, you just get that one. But they're a good laugh. They're not like this. They're we just chat and have technical problems. And the last ones this month was Misanthropy R Us. It was hilarious. Nice one, Andrew, because it's also a way of supporting the channel, so it's appreciated. Right, where are we going? So yeah, the first thing I'd like to say is hello, Windy. I can't believe you're wearing sunglasses inside in November in Angleterre. Nice to see you, Windy. Remember what I said to you last night? Can you pass that on? If you could, that would be handy. Now, here's the first thing. Here's what I'm going to suggest. Now, I can't prove it. If Trump was in power, this China-Taiwan thing, I don't think it even gets this far. I do not think it even gets this far. What's going on is countries such as China, and I'm going to start calling Russia the Soviet Union, because without a doubt that's Putin's plan. He's looking to rebuild. Okay, Windy, not a problem. I'll speak to Gail later. They're taking advantage of the state that America's in. They're taking advantage of a weak administration. You know, the pipeline. I won't go over it again, but the Nord 2 pipeline that has now got Europe by the bollocks. I mean, what a ridiculous thing. Trump wouldn't have let that happen. He didn't let that happen. There were sanctions imposed. No, stop it. You can't do that. We're energy efficient. And this lot, they've I need to put a bit of colour in here. Not that much. What about this? Oh man, it's so blue. That'll have to do. It's getting dark. I might have shut the windows in a minute. Oh, yellow, Hyundai. There you go. They're taking advantage of a weak administration. They know that Biden's not going to do anything about this. So China and Putin's Soviet project are just running rampant. No way would they have done this if Trump was in power. Can you imagine flying around Taiwan, bombers and fighters? Trump would have just said, yeah, that needs to stop. And no, Biden probably doesn't even know what Taiwan is. Well, what's a Taiwan? I don't know. I don't understand. So it was quite interesting on CNN, where she was trying to get a bit of sense out of, this is from the Next News Network, which is definitely worth a subscription. I'll show you a little bit of this. Have a look. Hello, Jens. How you doing, son? Totally agree. That's why NATO is supporting Ukraine with training and such. Yeah, against the rebels. Yeah. I mean, NATO in itself is a strange situation. I mean, I don't really understand why it's still there, but it just complicates the issue, doesn't it? But nice one. See you later, Otto. Take care, mate. Have a good day. Beijing, Brandon. But they are absolutely going to take as much advantage of this administration as they can, without a doubt. I mean, look, I say it every day, but Miley rung them up. He rung up the CCP. Can you imagine that? Not only did that happen, but there's a socialist government in the United States. When you lived through the Cold War, you would never have thought that was going to happen. Yeah, maybe a left wing, centre left wing, yeah. But socialists giving millions of dollars to illegal immigrants, opening the southern border, the list goes on. It's free money for everyone that they just print in. And this, we've seen all this countless times before. And guess what? It didn't work then, and it won't work now. But it is quite the. It does ramp things up a little bit when China are sort of like, well, if we're going to do this, now's the time, because we ain't got long before this geezer falls over walking up some stairs, shits himself, and doesn't get up. And that will be, they know this. Historical Doppelganger says they still got an axe to grind from the Opium Wars. Well, I'll do the short version of this story, but it's worth saying. In China, they call the 20th century the century of humiliation. And Chinese kids are taught at school about how the British humiliated them through 2 opium wars and turned them into a nation of opium addicts. Apparently, at its height, there was 1 in 3 Chinese was addicted to opium. And when the Chinese government said to England, no more, we don't want any more opium on our shores. Then the English sent gunboats up the Yangtze, I was going to say, the Yangtze, and just kept, destabilized the population. They call it the century of humiliation. When I've dated Chinese girls, I've heard about all this, and they sort of say, in schools when kids are, one girl I was with, lovely girl, she used to sing me the communist, what's it called? The International. Chinai, and she stood up and done it. And she said she was taught that when she was 3 years old. Every 3-year-old in China can sing the International, rise up and blah, 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 blah. And there was a very strange moment when David Cameron, it was Remembrance Sunday or Remembrance Week or whatever, and Cameron went to Beijing for a meeting with old Pinyin and got off the plane, and he had a poppy on his lapel. And the Chinese went fucking mad. Now, I think they're right to go mad. I think that's just, yes, it means something else in England, but you don't go to China with a fucking poppy, a big poppy on your lapel. It's just that's pissing on them, isn't it? I understand that it means something else in England, but you ain't in England. You're in China. You're in their country. I mean, do some basic research. That's ridiculous. It's like going to Israel with a fucking swastika on your lapel. I mean, just some basics. Right, here we go. No, it's the 20th century. I'm almost 100% on that because I read 2 books about the Opium Wars. Let me just check. It's going to be a hard one to find at the moment. Hang on. How interesting. You're right, actually. Well, we're both right. It goes from 1839 to 1949. So the term came about in 1915. Here, say and search, innit? I'll pop it over here. What I can't believe is that there's actually a wiki. Is that Willow Wookie? There's a wiki. Have a look at this. Look, it's already getting dark here. What the frick? The century of humiliation. Good call, though, Willow, because we get a little bit more detail on it. I didn't know that it was this well known. Like, I found out about it from Chinese girls. Century of humiliation. So it's not actually like the 20th it's actually 100 years. Look, the century of humiliation, also known as the 100 years of national humiliation, is the term used in China to describe the period of intervention and subjugation of the Qing dynasty and the Republic of China by Western powers and Japan from 1839 to 1949. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Chinese nationalists in the 1920s and the 1930s dated the century of humiliation to the mid-19th century, like Willow said, on the eve of the First Opium War, amidst the political unraveling of the Qing China that followed. Incredible. I mean, most English people don't know that there was even opium wars. There was two opium wars, because England was making an absolute packet from it. They were growing the opium in India and they were moving it to China, and they'd done it. It was obvious why. You know, what a product. Opium poppies will grow almost anywhere if you've got the sunshine. I'm talking about latitudes. And it's free money. And like heroin, opium it's almost the perfect commodity, isn't it? If the quality is bad, you buy more. If you buy more and use more, you need to buy more. What a trap. What a trap that is. Quality goes down, you need to buy more. What? That doesn't work with anything else. And if you use more, you need more. Absolutely by the bollocks, man. Absolutely by the bollocks. And China was. The communal balls of China were in the hands of the East India Trading Company. I won't dig them out now, but there's some amazing photos online of the East India companies, like just these warehouses stacked top to bottom with crates of opium. I can't imagine the size that the British Raj, they must have had, thousands upon thousands of acres. I bet the Parvati Valley was just poppies, to be able to produce that, to be able to sustain 1 in 3 Chinese opium addicts. They must have been manufacturing that stuff like it was going out of fashion. Absolutely absurd. Nice one though, Willow. We got a little bit more specificity on that, so that's appreciated. Right. Matt says someone always has someone else by the balls throughout history. Yeah, it's a good point. Number 1 Audrey Hepburn fan. Oh, wait, you've been on before because I mentioned Gizzy Erskine to you, didn't I? Well, we have on this channel because isn't it weird that, can someone remind me how many billions of dollars of weapons did the Biden administration accidentally leave in Afghanistan? What if they're not going to war, what could Afghanistan do with helicopters and communications devices and automatic weapons, and what could you do with that? I don't know if you could protect millions of acres of poppies. Well, you're absolutely right. I mean, if you're gonna be leaving behind all those weapons, I don't think you do that by accident. I think you do that. That is conjecture, but it kind of makes sense, doesn't it? They are now able to protect their crop at the level of the American military. Fucking hell, man. Didn't they use opium to get access to tea? It's a strange one, isn't it? Because I think that was the original deal. Because the saying, all the tea in China. I'm going to put some lights on. The saying, all the tea in China. Well, that was actually from India. I think I'll have to look into it again. It's a long time since I read them. But China, I think that the tea actually originally came from India. But I'll have to look into it. Chomp, 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 chomp. Put the old migraine spotlights on. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what, Willow. Thanks for the donation, mate. I maybe will do some readings. Would all you be interested in that? I'll grab hold of one of those books on the Opium Wars, and we'll do like a separate stream once a week where maybe we'll read from the Opium Wars and have like a once a week history lesson on the Opium Wars. Might be interesting. Shocking grift at 50 minutes, but Dawn has saved the day, and thank you everyone else as well. Right, let's have a little look at this. Oh yes, John, I reckon it'll be interesting. It's a bit yellow now though, isn't it? Good Lord. Yeah, we could. We'll go through. I think the second Opium Wars the more interesting one, if I remember rightly. But I'll have a look into it, and we'll. There you go. That's better. Okay, nice one. Yeah, Steve's up for it as well. Yeah, all right. It won't be me improvising. I'll get some decent texts. I'll make sure they've got some historical. What would the word be I'm looking for? Well, truth. Keep it simple. Rigor was the word I was looking for. Some historical rigor. All right. Without a doubt, we'll do that. Less of a book club, Lewis Jones. Nice to see you. Less of a book club, more of a theme. So it won't be about the book, or maybe I'll be reading from different texts, because that would probably be a little bit more sensible, because then you're not going to get one historian's bias if we read from a variety of texts. Yeah, there's plenty of oysters on old Simon's streams, isn't there? Bless him. But come on, he makes cracking content. Hello, Jimmy. Stop picking your teeth when you're streaming. Good to see you, man. Right, okay, so we'll finally get round to this. So this is a clip. It's gone yellow again. I think it's because the light. I'm going to have to put the white. Fuck it. It's yellow. Put up with yellow. So this is a clip from the Next News Network, which is clipping from CNN. All right, Steve, don't say it. It's making me feel a little bit queasy now. All right, okay. Okay. I'll get the bloke who made my fascist hat to make me a nice Chinese one. Here we go. Let's get muted. Finally get this clip out of the way. It's interesting though. And again, remember, you don't get this. You don't get this under Trump. Not a chance. Russia, the Nord 2 pipeline. I know I've said it every day, but America was energy independent. They were exporting oil. And now they're not. Now Biden's begging OPEC to lower prices. That's absurd. Imagine. How do you justify that? White man bad? That's the only way you can justify it. America bad. No, we should give this business to other people. I don't know, like Russia. Anyway, so America is being ripped the piss out of because they've got a weak administration, the weakest one anyone has seen by a long mile. We've had Jim Jordan saying, "I've never seen such madness." Tucker Carlson, "This is the most insane thing I've ever seen." People are saying this stuff. I ran up to a brick wall last week, didn't I? Talking about America, I said all I'm left with is this is mad, and that's what it is. It's going to be. They are importing South America into the United States. That's it. That's what's happening. And again, just before the clip, that's why China and the neo-Soviets are going to take full advantage of this administration. And if you think this administration doesn't know that, you're absurd, because of course they do, because they want America to fail. They don't like it. They hate it. Shocking. Oh, Lord, 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 Lord. Chomp, 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 chomp. Chomp in the evening, chomp in the day. Go on, love, take it away. So this is quite peculiar.
Okay, just one more follow on that. The president said specifically that the U.S. would. That's not what you're saying, correct?
The president has...
Sorry, just for a little bit of context. So she's just asked him a minute ago, and he just give her a load of bullshit, not answering the question, dancing around it. So Biden said he'd defend Taiwan from China, right? Now, how are you going to do that when you've got Miley, who's already rung them up to say, tell them if anything happens? That's just nonsense. And there's been like a slight backtrack. So now it's defend is a bit of an exaggeration. And so this is what he says.
Saying, correct?
The president has, for a long time, including when he was a senator, voting for the Taiwan Relations Act, made clear that we will do everything necessary to make sure that Taiwan has the means to defend itself.
Now, you remember what President Trump did, like literally before he was even sworn in. He called Taiwan when China was threatening him not to, and they spoke and they started diplomatic relations. You know, it's not the same. It's just not the same caliber of leadership right now.
And there you go. There you go. Trump rung them up, started diplomatic relations. You know, let's talk. We're America. We believe in freedom and democracy. Let's start a dialogue. And Biden's just gone, well, and like I say, backtrack. I mean, look who's in that photo. Look who's sitting there listening to Biden. We'll have a little bit more of this, but look. Who's that fella there? I can't believe he's still got a job. And as I've said all week, I mean, they've set the bar so low. You know, if Merrick Garland, the Attorney General, I thought he was going to get fired, but if Miley's still got, look at him sitting there. Look at these two clowns. Miley, who called the CCP and said, "Don't worry, we'll help you out." And Joe Biden, look, what the fuck are they going to do about China? Really? Does it instill faith in you? I'll tell you what they'll do. Whatever's best for China. I said it. They'll do whatever's best for China. Because they see them as allies. Do you know why? Because they're both communists. The Chinese are having an absolute party at the moment. Anyway, let's listen to see what the next news work continues to say. Let me know you got audio.
And Blinken, dodging the question for a third time, reiterated his previous answer that Biden had made clear that we will do everything necessary to make sure that Taiwan has the means to defend itself. Will they or won't they? China must be reeling right now. Most Americans still wish we would just take a strong stance against their invasionary, anti-democratic tactics. But with Joe Biden in charge, that's asking a lot. Do you think Joe's inability to stay on track is confusing the CCP? We want to know what you think. Comment.
I mean, can you imagine being in a room with Miley and Biden talking about something this significant? The potential invasion of Taiwan by China. Miley and Biden. You'd think you would. I think I'm dreaming now, just looking at that picture. It's like, hang on, hang on. This doesn't happen. None of this happens under Trump. Trump would have. They wouldn't have even started. They wouldn't have even flown those planes. This is taking advantage of the new spastic in government. Absolutely, and not the American people's pockets. And I know you know that, zeitgeist. No. Biden's family, Pelosi's family, the socialist leaders. You know, they know that country's going down the pan under them, and they don't care. There's this new bank account that's come out. There's a bank account that Biden and his son are both signatories on, That should have been major news. Well, hang on. What is this? Where's this money coming from? Is it coming from the Ukraine when he said, you sack that bloke who's investigating my son, or we ain't giving you any money? Oh, you can bribe countries now in full view. He was proud of it. Do you remember when he went? I told him, I said, you sack that man investigating my son, or you ain't getting a dollar from us. 3 hours later, he was out of a job. The world should have been aghast. This is terrifying. Didn't even feature in the mainstream media. It was like, you know, Politico. It's what a place to be in. Okay, quite a jump to the next topic, but it's very good. I know it's not exactly, Matt. Exactly. You've got to get your priorities right. There's the man in a dress has been offended. Got to be very careful about that. New terms of service yesterday put out by YouTube. We'll have a look at one of them. I put it on my Telegram link in the description. Let me just show you this. I'll put it, hang on. All right, what's the best way of doing that? Copy image. Get it in me art software, my Horizons drawer from my ZX Spectrum. Move that over there. All right, so this was one of the new terms of service. Now, Susan, cut me some slack. I'm only putting it up so that people know. I'm not critiquing it. I'm just letting people know. So I got this in my email yesterday. This was one of many. So this came from YouTube yesterday, and they said, update to our terms of service. I'm going to read this out. And if I lose my channel for reading this out, I wouldn't put it past them, you know. I have an Odyssey channel, by the way, people, and a Twitch. You know, if ever I disappear from here, find me on Odyssey or Twitch. Check this out. November 2021. This literally came from YouTube yesterday. Medical misinformation policy expansion. They say expansion because they haven't stopped changing this for the last few months. On September the 29th, we expanded our medical misinformation policies on YouTube with new guidelines around the safety, efficacy, and ingredients, of current efficacy, and ingredients of currently administered vaccines that are approved and confirmed to be safe and effective by local health authorities and by the WHO. Now, when you click learn more, which I won't bother with because that's a picture, they basically say you can't say they're wrong. No shit. You can't say that they're wrong. Rags, hello, mate. Rags says there's 46 likes and 110 here. A like would be nice. Jab, 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 jab. Yeah, they literally say, you know, if you question the official narrative as set out by local health authorities and the WHO, that's not allowed. Isn't that amazing? And as a YouTuber, I get this stuff all the time. And you have to read it because you need to know what tightrope you're going to be on in the morning on your next video. It's incredible, isn't it? I would have thought that freedom of speech would suggest, you know, that's protected in America at least. I would have thought that you were allowed to say what you wanted. And they say, no, not on our platform. Oh, are you a platform or are you publishers? Because you get the protection. You get legal protections for being a platform. Yeah? But you also make rules that publishers make. So you get the best of both worlds. Does BitChute get that? Oh, no, they don't. Why? What's the difference? It's very interesting, isn't it? It's very interesting stuff. I always have to read those things as well, because sometimes it's literally like, don't say this word. Don't you dare go near this stuff. And you're like, okay. I'll tell you what, Will, I'd be careful even saying that, because they're shutting down user accounts as well for saying things. What a surprise. Yeah, it's not far off, is it? I mean, if you can't get people to do what you want by threatening them with their jobs and threatening them with their kids going to school, if you can't do that, what's the next step? If you can't force them into doing things they don't want to do by depriving them of food, house, credit card, bank account, what else is there? Re-education. Now, I know Sticks isn't everyone's cup of tea, but he absolutely nails this. And the interesting angle is how the left are trying to their new angle on critical race theory is that it's part of a right-wing culture war. Now, I know it's not everyone else's cup of tea, but you can't listen to what he says rather than what he might have said before that you didn't agree with, because he absolutely nails this. He shields his books, but that's all right. Check this out. We're going to play quite a long clip, but I'll be shutting my windows while it's playing. And don't worry, I can still hear. I've got my AirPods in. Let me know that you can hear it, though, please.
All right, everyone, it's time to talk about critical race theory. The boomer libs have decided to pivot because they've completely lost the engagement on critical race theory itself. They're trying to do a few weaselly things now to defend it while abandoning its name. Like in Virginia, they're now rambling about Toni Morrison. Well, there was a Toni Morrison book and a school board decided to not have it be read because it gave some kid nightmares and stuff. But it's really a tale about slavery and reparations and shit like that. It's like, that has nothing to do with critical race theory. To be clear, you're talking about a fictional account of a book. It's like fucking Harry Potter or anything else that's ever been banned by a school board or by a PTA or whatever. A school has decided to take it off the fucking shelves for being, culturally obscene. Well, we've seen this before. I don't support it, by the way. I don't think that books should ever be singled out to be removed simply because some parent or one student has a problem with it. But that's not talking about critical race theory. The other thing is they're trying to cast it off as basically a conspiracy theory in different words, as a right-wing culture war. Well, it's not a culture.
And that is the interesting thing. So this is their maneuver. This is the thing they're doing. So critical race theory is on its arse at the moment. It's being attacked all over the place. As soon as this ridiculous administration brought the FBI in and started saying parents are domestic terrorists, it drew so much attention to this stuff, and normies are finding out about it. They're finding out, and as Sticks will go on to say, they've basically taken the classic Marxist model, which used to be a class distinction of the ruling classes and the proletariat, and the ruling classes oppress the proletariat, and the proletariat need to rise up, have a revolution and redistribute the wealth. What critical race theory does is say that it's exactly the same thing, but now it's black and minority ethnic versus white people. I mean, it's historically inaccurate. I was taught this stuff on my master's degree. I've done a master's degree in cultural studies, 20 odd, 30 odd. Good Lord, how long ago was it? I was 23. And it's historically inaccurate. They lie. They make stuff up. No, I'm not exaggerating. It's historically incorrect. And it's also a very thin slither. There'll be no mention of how England ended the Atlantic slave trade. There's no mention of who's still trading slaves. There's very little mention of where the slaves came from. There's very little mention of who funded the Atlantic slave trade, etc., etc. There's no mention of how much it cost England and English taxpayers to put a stop to it. No. According to CRT, there was never any slavery until the white man come along, which is just patently absurd. Every civilization has had a form of slavery. That's fact. But it's an evil, shitty little anti-white nonsense, and as soon as you just scratch below the surface, any superficial analysis of critical race theory, and it just crumbles. We saw that woman yesterday, that Rutgers University professor saying, we need to get rid of these motherfuckers. And then she went, I mean, I know I can't say that. What? You just did. But you just did. And so parents are finding out what their kids are being taught. We saw a black woman standing up saying, I don't want you telling my kid he's oppressed. Because then he thinks he's oppressed. And if someone thinks they're oppressed, they tend to end up being oppressed. They oppress themselves. It's the panopticon. And it's falling to pieces. So what the left are doing now, they're rebranding. They're rebranding. And they're doing it, I'll tell you what, in leftist circles, in long marches, they'll be burning the midnight oil rebranding this nonsense because they know how much they got out of it. They were allowed to burn America last year off the back of this nonsense. So it's basically a rebranding, a little bit more sticks.
Culture war. The left clearly started this by attempting to inject historical revisionism into the school system. And parents, because by and large they don't participate enough in civics, weren't aware that this was happening. But then they grew a mass consciousness. People discovered that there was this hypothetical sort of arena of so-called academic thought.
It's a great point, actually, there. They weren't involved enough in civics. And we talked about this the other day. You know, why aren't civics taught in schools? Well, it was removed from schools by leftists. Because if you start teaching children about how governments work, the left crumbles. You know, if you start teaching kids actual civic history, they find out the problems with socialism. They find out the problems with communism. And I know I keep saying this, but I've got to stress it. Karl Marx, the clue is in the name. He used the word socialism and communism interchangeably, and so will I, because they're the same thing. And I heard some fella the other day saying that socialism is communism without the bad bits. Well, I'm sorry, mate. If you take the bad bits out of communism, there's nothing left. This is a rebranding by the left. And people are waking up to what's actually happening.
Civics weren't aware that this was happening. But then they grew a mass consciousness. People discovered that there was this hypothetical sort of arena of so-called academic thought that taught that whites should feel guilty, that self-refutes, derives explicitly from Marxism and even proclaims that to be the fact, that's pushed by some of the worst dregs of society. And
that's another very interesting point. Let's not forget that the leaders of BLM boasted that they were, quote, and I quote, trained Marxists. You know, that was something that they bragged about. They bragged about that. Michael says that socialism predates communism and Marx. Well, maybe so, but Marx used the words interchangeably, and that's my point. Because you'll continually hear people say, "Well, you know, we're socialists, we're not communists," but they are communists because it's the same thing.
That to be the fact, that's pushed by some of the worst dregs of society, that ignores basic mathematical statistics and everything else, and is essentially a form of soft communism in which you've replaced class struggle theory with race struggle theory. That's all it is. It's very simplistic. You can sum it up in a couple of sentences quite easily. I decide to, for the purposes of refutation, I went a little bit further in my own booklet on the subject. By the way, Critical Race Theory, still available on Amazon. Almost 3,500 copies have sold of it, so it's doing pretty well. Yes, we are red pilling some people, and because it's small, and I kept the cost down, get several copies, and give them to your liberal friends as a joke to piss them off. Then they'll become book burners. I'm going to light my fireplace with this. So it's probably gas fireplace because burning wood bad, deforestation or whatever. Anyway, it's not a right-wing culture. There are a significant proportion of liberals don't support critical race theory once they understand what it is. I'm not right-wing, except on certain issues. But, I mean, if you look at me on like abortion or gay rights, you'd think that I was a hippie. So it depends on which issues are considered culturally more important at the time that are being debated over. Critical race theory I oppose mainly because it's not academic. It's a pile of trash. The entire supposition is self-refuting and wrong. I already picked through this. I made several videos on the topic. I wrote a fucking booklet on the topic. critical race theory, there's no reason to have a culture war or a debate over it. It shouldn't be in schools except for the purposes of criticizing it as a minor quasi-academic movement, because it's a historical mumbo-jumbo nonsense.
And
it would be
and there you go. That's the point. Michael, hello, mate. I don't entirely buy the cultural Marxism angle. Okay, but I made a video once saying there's two types of cultural Marxism. What do you mean by cultural Marxism? I'm all up for you disagreeing or saying that, but I'm going to need a little bit more. Gregor, I've said it. I said it myself when I was a communist. You know, well, that's the second line. The first line is that it wasn't real communism. And then when they say, well, why not? And then you say, well, because communism is an international project. And, you know, when you've got people, when you've got like the Americans stopping it from happening, it's not going to work, is it? And then you're like, yeah, but didn't JP Morgan fund the Soviet revolution? I mean, that wouldn't seem to be them not supporting it. The reason the likes of them, the reason they funded it was because they wanted to destabilize the place, and they thought, yeah, go for it, communism, crack on. Nearly backfired though. Let's be fair. They did put someone into well, oh, that's the missus. Well, not necessarily friendly, but you know what I mean. We don't need to get shit with each other. Hello, cheeky chicken. Yeah. Hello, love. I'm making a video. It won't be much longer. Yeah. Okay, you want to say hello?
Hello, my friend.
Go on once more.
My friend.
Yeah, love, I'll talk to you a bit later.
We come tomorrow.
I know you're coming tomorrow. It'll be amazing. I'll talk to you a bit later. Bye. Don't trying to put me off making rude gestures while I'm on the phone. I've got to share it with you because it's quite funny. She was literally now she does this because she knows it's crass, by the way, but she was literally going but she's not trying to be sensual. She's trying to put me off and it's worked. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Hello, very cheeky. She's very cheeky. She is very cheeky. Well, Johnny, I'll tell you what, there's an amazing video that Hugh made. Do you see what the Russians done to the German people at the end of the Second World War? It's a fucking, it'll curl your toes. They just marched through that place, torturing, raping, murdering, and you don't hear much about this kind of stuff, of course, because they were allies at the time. And the Germans, German man bad in the Second World War. But fuck me, and look, I tell you now, when you've got a bit of time, go and do some research on what happened when the Soviet army, who were dehumanized by this point, without a doubt, absolutely dehumanized. And there was the dehumanized the enemy as well. Which was basically Germans. Look into some of the stuff that went on. It's fucking terrifying is the word I'd put to it. Terrifying. Okay, so that was enough of our man Sticks. This is another massive jump in. This is really quite weird. So the bloke, the co-founder, right? The co-founder of Ethereum. If you don't know Ethereum, Otto, I think it's fair to say that they were made into monsters. Wars back then were very different from military sort of engagements we have today. You know, these were land armies that were sent to fight in trenches, front lines, and all that sort of stuff. I'm not judging them as individuals, but because I was never taught any of that stuff, you know, you get this idea that when the Nazis lost the war and Germany was split in half and hey, it's over. But when you actually start finding out what went on after the war was over, it's nightmarish. It's absolutely nightmarish. And it's very hard to find information on it because it's kind of, you know, no, we won. Well, what does winning mean? Does it mean that you just get to go and bring hell upon a people, you know? And they did. They brought hell upon the German people. It's almost impossible to read the stuff. Okay, so a bit of a change in pace here. I suppose the grift has been acceptable. I'll let you off. I mean, I haven't been on particular form, but I had a very busy morning. Now, the co-founder of Ethereum, a bloke called Vitalik Buterin. He's quite a strange person. Now, I'm not judging him for that. I've been called a strange person on more than 1,000 occasions. He's also a multi-billionaire off the back of his crypto, Ethereum, that he invented. And so when the old body language ghost gets involved, it's quite interesting. But he's a very strange bloke. He's a very strange bloke. You'll see as soon as you see him. Jens says the good guys are always the ones who are the best at killing. Well, you know, that's what an amazing point. Well, Emrys, no, you don't. That's my point. You don't stop fighting. They carried on. They rained hell down on Germany. Okay, check out Vitalik Buterin. He's a weird fella, but the body language ghost does quite a good job of it. Check it out. It's a bit light-hearted, but if you missed what I just said, because you're currently researching Soviet movements in Germany after the war, he's a multi-billionaire off the back of Ethereum, which is a cryptocurrency. I think it's fair to say it's probably the second most popular one after Bitcoin now. Check him. Come on, mate. Just a couple of hours a week in the gym. But you know, you can't knock the fella. He's done his bit. I've moved it on a little bit so it'll start where it starts. Here we go.
SHIB. For context, Shiba Inu was created in August 2020.
So he's talking about SHIB, which, to be honest with you, I don't know a lot about the altcoins. I really don't.
So he's talking to him about Shiba Inu. I can't remember. Shiba Inu. That dude. Which is a relatively new crypto, which jumped recently. I saw a video of Elon Musk and Jack Dorsey saying that Shiba Inu is going to become the new currency. Now, when the likes of Jack Dorsey, not so much, but Elon Musk say this, there's price changes. But there was a weird glitch in the matrix with the Shiba price. I watched a video on that, and it was like, hang on, what's going on here? I don't know if I particularly trust this one. It did fly, though. A lot of money was made early, but apparently the average holding time, the average hodling time for Shiba is 14 days. That doesn't inspire confidence in me, but I'm no crypto expert. Here we go. That is amazing. That's the winning comment. And you're against some hard competition because Grego's been on fire. Skipped every day. Anyway, I haven't put it on for Dawn. Is that by On the Offensive? Is that what you found? Because his video is brilliant on it. Absolutely amazing. Yeah, check out Head Day.
Nor do I really care. Now, Vitalik is kind of a weird guy. He is very conservative in his flamboyance as far as his body movements. I'd have to say that I see a lot of autism. He's very awkward when dealing with the public. He's very awkward.
Do you reckon you'd put everything you owned on the geezer being somewhere on the spectrum, wouldn't you? I'm not judging him for his appearance. I'm just saying that it's quite peculiar, and that's fair enough. People do look peculiar. But, you also have to be honest about that. I don't think he looks in the mirror and says, yeah, I'm buff. I don't think he does. But the geezer's a multi-billionaire. He's doing all right. I think he can take it.
Word in his body movements with other people. Does a little eyebrow raise. His body's a little stiff. But again, this guy doesn't have the same comfort level in dealing with people that most normal.
No, this is a bloke who sat in front of a computer for a year and became a multi-billionaire off the back of it. He did not move from that seat. He was sitting in a like a termite mound of Cheeto dust by the end of it. He was mainlining Coca-Cola for a year and a half.
People have. So I put him in the autism spectrum to make it easier for you to understand some of the weirdness that we see. Because none of the weirdness that we're seeing right now means nothing. There's no hidden, ooh. There's no, oh my gosh, he's being deceptive. He's just a little odd.
Modeled off of Dogecoin by the anonymous founder known as Ryoshi. On May 10th this year, it had a market capitalization of over 13 billion. And maybe you can explain this, but in a crazy move, you were given half of SHIB's total supply. You burned, aka destroyed, 90% of it. That's worth $6.7 billion.
So did you hear that? He was given half of the SHIB tokens and he destroyed them. Over $6 billion worth. That's how much money this geezer's got. Now, I don't know enough about crypto to know why he done that. I mean, SHIBs has got a limited, well, all crypto, I think, well, Bitcoin certainly has got a limited run. They will stop. There'll be a time when you can't mine any more crypto. Every cycle, I think it goes down. But I think SHIBs is even Shiba Inu is limited even more, and he destroyed loads of it. He must have had a reason, but $6.5 billion, good Lord.
And you donated 10%. That's worth 1.2 billion at the time to an India COVID-19 relief fund, saying you don't want to be the locus of this much power. This is fascinating. Why and how are you able to walk away from this much money and this much power?
So I should probably start by giving some of the backstory around these coins.
So as you see him, he's an awkward guy to begin with. So we really can't sit there and say the shifting in the chair, the uncomfortable movements in the face is, oh my gosh, he's talking about something where he's being deceptive. It's stress. That's all we got, because it doesn't go outside of what we've already seen from him, even on a comfort level.
And this concept of giving me coins. So first of all, Shiba Inu, as you said, is this kind of knockoff of Dogecoin, right? And Dogecoin was this initial kind of fun coin that was created back, I think, around 2014 or so.
So a little Dogecoin was a meme that actually took off. It's a very peculiar little situation. Dogecoin was a meme, and then when Elon Musk tweeted Dogecoin to the moon, and to the moon is a crypto saying, meaning this currency is going to appreciate through the roof, I think would be an English version of that phrase. And that's what happened to Dogecoin.
And it was just created by Jackson Palmer and put it out as a joke for a couple of hours, and a community formed around it. And at the beginning, people didn't take it very seriously. I actually remember putting about $25,000 into Doge sometime around 2016. And I just remember just thinking to myself, okay, how am I going to explain to my mom that I just invested $25,000 into dog coins?
Isn't it amazing though? And this is important. After all the piss taking, and I let us take the piss, and I took the piss because I've seen this. He's a nice bloke, right? Isn't he a nice bloke? How interesting would it be to spend a couple of hours with this bloke, talking to him about Ethereum, talking to him about the blockchain, talking to him about crypto, talking to him about investing? I think he's a nice bloke. I think I'd happily have this geezer as a mate, and I think that's relevant as well. I think it's relevant because we do judge people. All of us do. This bullshit NPC world that you're not allowed to. Of course we do. You have to. We've developed to judge people. Because if this geezer's running across a bar at me, I'm just going to pick up a pint glass and let him wear it. And that's why you need to judge people, because if he's twice the size of this and he's running at a bar at me, I'm running out of that bar. So, all this bullshit about, you shouldn't judge people. Well, no, actually you should. But you just don't base everything on that, and it's flexible. You allow it to be changed when you're provided with more information. Yes, here's his appearance. Yes, it's a bit like this. It's a bit freaky. He seems a bit spurgy. Okay, that's my first impression, but that's not it. That's not all he is. That's just how he appears, and that's all right. Again, this it's just all this social justice claptrap that you somehow everyone's the same. No, they're fucking not. But pretending that makes it worse for people like this because people don't say it. If he was my mate and he walked in, I'd make a joke if I got it together. I'd say I'd use Moslab's joke on him. I'd get it out of the way early. I'd establish the fact that he looks like that and he's a weirdo. Because once that's established, we can start relaxing. But when you play the politeness game, when you play the social justice game, I don't know, it's just the same as the rest of us. No, he's not. He isn't. And I'm glad he's not, because people aren't all the same, you communist fucks. People aren't created equal. But I reckon he's a good guy. I reckon I'd have a good laugh with him.
And what even are dog coins? The only interesting thing about this coin is that there's, a logo of a dog somewhere. Yeah. But, of course, that ended up being one of the best investments I've ever made.
So he's making a joke, and you see all the tightness in his body as he's wiggling around. He's quick movements. This is stress. And he's making a pretty good joke. I mean, in nerd world, this is funny. I think it's funny to my mom that I sit there and invested in dog coins. You also see he does appropriateness in his brain searches. He doesn't speculate. That's kind of odd to see. Because most people, when they're, recounting something, they'll sit there and they'll fill in the holes of their memory with the construction part of their brain. And we don't really see that from him. I actually haven't seen it yet in this interview. He's got a visual memory for it. So he must have a very, very good memory that he doesn't have to fill.
It's a great point, John. And especially working class men. You get that stuff done initially. That's your first point of call. All that politeness doesn't make you close to people. Honesty makes you close to people. Every time I had a mate come around my house, if he was wearing something ridiculous or he'd had his hair cut in a stupid way, that's the first thing I'm going to mention. And I'm going to rib him for it for a good couple of hours, as many times as I can. Because that's me saying to him that we're mates. Because you can take it, I can give it. And the fact that it's happening means that you can give it and I can take it. Because we've got a deeper friendship. We don't care about superficial things that go on in the corporate world of fashion magazines. We've always done it. And when I've met people who can't take a bit of ribbing, a bit of piss taking, we don't become friends because they're too anal. They're highly strung. I've had it. I've had people go, I'm not going around fucking Dangerfields. I said, I thought so-and-so was coming. And they went, nah, he said we all take the piss out of each other too much. Well, that's why he's not our friend, because he wants to put on a show. He wants to perform. We don't want performers in our social group. This isn't the fucking theater. This is our lives. You know, let's get over these things that have been imprinted on us by a market that essentially wants us to spend more money so that we can appear in a different way than we are. It's nonsense.
The holes in with the construction part.
And it did really well. And then at the end of 2020.
Oh, there we go. There's just that one little small place of construction. Then by the end, and he's recounting a time frame of all the things we've seen so far, emotional memories, visual memories, things of that nature. He's got a very good grasp in his mind. He can recall it very quickly. But apparently time, at least for this instance, is not the strongest suit of his memory. He did not put that in his brain of, I need to remember the time of this.
Elon Musk, of course, started talking about Dogecoin, and the market cap just like shot up to about $50 billion. Actually, and it shot up multiple times, right? Like the first time it went up from about 0.8 cents to about like 7 cents.
You also see as he's moving his eyes, even though he's got really great brain recall, that he's avoiding.
Yeah, the other thing, we won't go much more into that because I made the point I wanted to make. But what's incredible is, you know, this bloke has got some incredible stories because he's changed the world. He's done something in his bedroom, in his mother's basement, that is going to change the future without a doubt. Ethereum's huge, and yet it's so boring. He's like, well, on the 20th at 7 o'clock, or the 26th, and it's like, I don't want these details. I want to know what it was like when you named your coin, when you floated your coin, when people first started buying it, when your bank account went up. But these details aren't interesting to this bloke. He's not interested in the money. Notice it's all times and dates and come on, man, just tell me. Something hilarious happened in the chat. Ian said a bad haircut lasts a week. And RMF said, how would you know? It just distracted me a little bit. Yeah, it's interesting. You know, I think that would frustrate me if I was to, yeah, he couldn't tell you that stuff. Yeah, that's what I think, Dennis. I think I'd be like, come on, man, you know, what was it like? And they'd be, you know, they'd be thinking, well, I can tell you about numbers and functions and, you know, blockchain intricacies. I'll be like, no, what was it like when you realized that the world, you know, you've just put a footprint on the history of currencies and the history of money markets. And he won't know that. He won't understand that because it means nothing to him. It's interesting, isn't it? Jens, we want the speedboat and coke stories. Yeah, I don't think he's got them, Jens. I think you put him on a speedboat, he's got his computer out. And he's like, when are we getting off this thing? I haven't got a signal. Interesting bloke though, you know, but I could imagine it being very, very frustrating. You know, be like, oh, come on, man. You know, there's a lot more here. Right, people, if you haven't yet seen my video review, my not Gonzo review, there's a link. Hello, Cro-Magnon, nice to see you. There's a link in the chat. Go and check that out, or just go to my channel and you can find it. I'll be streaming at about 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock UK time later today, and that'll be awesome. I'm going to play the outro tune. We've got a new one we're going to be using. I was just about to say, Dawn, there's a couple of minutes left to save the grift. Thank you very much for that donation and your other one, which did save the grift. Take the thing out the back of his neck and plug it into your computer. Download his money. Thank you, Dawn. Much appreciated. I'll check the entropy for what it's worth. Naught. You mean in Minecraft, Dawn, yeah? You mean in Minecraft. Right, hang on. I like the old I like the old cold, hard steel. If you're yet to subscribe to my Substack, link in the description. New story went out. It's in 2 parts, but they're both up. It's getting some good comments. If you do read it, leave a comment. Even if you didn't like it, tell me why. 1,800 views it had in 24 hours. That means the world to me. My writing, as I said to Ludwig in the comments, it's taken me 30 odd years to get my writing to the point where I think it's kind of what I want it to be. Really, 30 years I've been writing, and it's finally got somewhere where I think, okay, this is what I wanted to write. And to have nearly 2,000 people read it is mind-blowing for me. It means the world to me. So you can check that out by getting on my Substack. I'll put the link in the chat. There's 14 stories in the archive, and if you join it, you've only got to put your email in. Any new ones will be emailed to you directly, and I'll never monetize it. So it's all free. But do us a favor, leave a comment, even if you just say nice one or thanks, because algorithms and that. And then one day Substack will say, oh, do you want to do an interview and be on the front page? And I'll go, you've just changed my life. I can't see that happening, to be honest with you. They're a bit naughty, the stories. They're a bit dirty. It's the grisly underbelly of life. People, it's been an absolute pleasure. Keep an eye on your community tab. Keep an eye on your emails. 4 or 5 o'clock UK time later today. I'll be putting 2 hours in. So I will see you a bit later. Thank you to everyone who donated. Thank you to everyone who chatted in the chat. Thank you to Moslab and Rags for looking after the place. And I will see you this afternoon UK time. Here we go. Here we go. Finally.
Tell your daddy you're fighting good. Feel the glory he said you would. Tell your mama you're coming home.
Yeah, I got to work. But check out my video review of that movie. Leave a comment.
You realize you've been so
When you feel the enemy's cold hard steel. Hello, Simon.
feel the dawn of your final day.
All right, sorry, guys. Oh, shit.
Get right in that big black plane.
Hello, Ash. See you, Ash.
Kill your conscience along your brain. But you'll realize you've been sold when you feel the enemy's cold hard steel.
The review to the video. Well, just go to my channel. Just go to my channel and you'll find it, Brad. It's a YouTube video. Cheers, Mr. MF. Awesome solo. Keep at it, Jens. Jens.
Do whatever they tell you to. Tell yourself it ain't really you.
Yeah, there's another solo in a minute, Steve. It's awesome. Look after yourself, Wolfie.
You'll be murdering someone's son.
Take care, lads. Look after yourself, Ludwig.
When you realize you've been sold, when you feel the enemy's
Cold hard steel. Yeah. Likewise, Matt.
When you feel the enemy's cold hard steel. Oh Lord. Yes, you'll realize you've been sold when you feel the enemy's cold hard steel. Oh Lord. Cause the wheels are really being rolled when you feel the enemy's cold hard steel.
Hello, Pax Max. Oh, plenty of people signing up to my Substack. Nice one. This This is a solo I like. People have said, is this, it's very this, very that, very this, very that. I suppose that's what happens when you grow up in a postmodern era. You're a little bit of everyone you've heard. I'll see you later. Much later.